There's a difference between telling a good story and telling that good story well. So, at the end of World War II, Brad Pitt leads a crew of veteran tank men and one rookie into battle. The hero of this film, well, here's the film's first major problem. You see, everybody knows that Brad Pitt is the star of the film, but he's not really the main character. There's this kid named Norman. I don't know the actor's name, but this kid named Norman, and he's the hero of the film, but he's not the star. Um, he's no Brad Pitt. He's not as good an actor as Brad Pitt is. And the film focuses on Brad Pitt taking its attention away from this kid, despite the fact that it's really the kid's story. Um, so what happens is the film has a divided focus, and in dividing the focus, it loses focus. Um, and that's a real problem as you go through the film. Um, so Brad Pitt plays this war-weary tank sergeant who's trying to do his duty and get his boys home safe, and he has no time for kids who are slow to adjust to the harsh realities of front lines. And then you have Norman, and Norman is a clerk. He's a clerk who has suddenly, for a reason that is never explained, is suddenly sent to the front and made a part of a tank crew, despite the fact that he's never been to tank school. And he's got no training other than actually typing lessons. Like literally, he's had typing lessons. And he's also never killed anyone. Now, I did point out that this movie takes place at the closing end of World War II. This kid, he's not like a new recruit. He's actually been, overseas, but he was overseas behind friendly lines typing for the whole war. And then right at the end, they send him to the front for a reason that's never explained. Um, and he has a whole lot of trouble adjusting to what is expected of him at the front, i.e., killing people. The film never picks either of the two characters as the primary focus, and so you tend to see both points of view as being valid, but knowing that the kid has to adjust for the film to continue sort of makes you impatient for the moment when he does, and it happens, but it happens a little too late. And so you kind of get impatient with him. For a villain, well, the Germans in general are the villains of the film, and the SS are the villains in particular. But it's never really explained why Brad Pitt's character despises the SS, despises them. And you're never really told why, other than the fact that they're really, really, really evil, which if you've ever picked up a history book, you already know. The mentor character is Brad Pitt. He's clearly the teaching mentor, but he also does double duty as a sort of a hero. And the kid is sort of the moral center of the film, making him the right and wrong, the conscious of the film, that sort of mentor. But he's also clearly a danger to the other soldiers because he doesn't want to kill people, and those people he doesn't want to kill are shooting. So it kind of makes him morally contemptible at times because people literally die horrible deaths because he won't pull the trigger. Um, for allies, okay, for some reason, this film goes way out of its way to portray the other members of the tank crew as mean, crass, and really evil people. In fact, they're potentially rapists. They're bad, bad guys. And I mean, if you're supposed to like these guys, this movie fucked that up big time. It made these people people that you will hate. You will fucking hate for these people. You won't root for the Germans, but you will root for the fucking German bullets. You hate these motherfuckers by the end of the film. And these men are they're just the worst kind of trash. Even there's one who's religious, and he's played by Shia LaBeouf. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce that guy's name. He's good in the part, but his character is just as much of a scumbag as anybody else. He's not a potential rapist, but he is absolutely perfectly willing to sit by and do nothing while his other buddies who are get on with their business. He's douchebag by just omission of action. He's an ass. And it's, the Nazis are bad, but these guys are scum. They really are. So for the obstacles in this film, you have a whole bunch of Germans, and the Germans have better tanks than the Americans, which is historically true. And the Germans have some pretty vicious anti-tank guns and landmines and whatnot. But the other obstacles in this film are the other members of the tank crew, who you're supposed to be partly cheering for. The upside of the film, even the guys in the film who are scumbags, the actors playing them are brilliant. It is a really well acted film. Oh my God, is it well acted? And the film is, in terms of visuals, it's very well directed. Um, that's the upside. The downside, every character in the film gives you a reason not to like them before giving you a reason to root for them, maybe. The only character by the end of the film that I found myself fully rooting for was Norman, and that was only because he got over his can't pull the trigger nonsense. Brad Pitt's character, um, he's less of a scumbag than the other guys in the tank, but he's still kind of an ass. And he's kind of an ass that you can respect, but he's not someone that I would actually invite to dinner. And it's just the movie never balances out who the true hero is between Brad Pitt and Norman. And it goes way too far to make you dislike the only people in the film that you actually have to like in order to have someone to latch onto and root for. Brad Pitt and the kid eventually wind up on the same page, but not before both of them test the limits of your morality as a viewer. So the score is, I like the film despite its many problems. Um, I was going to give it 3 stars, but in going over how much is wrong with this film, I can't quite get it there. So I'm giving it 2.5 stars. Fury, 2.5 stars. It tells a really good story, but it tells it fucking bad as hell. Worst written things I've ever seen. So I guess this week the most appropriate question will be, what is the widest margin that you've ever seen between a well directed or great looking film that tells a dumbass story or just tells a story poorly? For me, is going to be Ridley Scott's Prometheus. The movie looks beautiful, but Jesus, that is a stupid story. What's yours?